Good morning, everybody. Let me open that window, get some more natural light in here. There we go. Okay. I've been watching the internet. Brother Bill, the sheepdog, contacted me and told me about some things going on. And you know, I want you guys to Google Drudge Report, WorldNet Daily, and any other alternative news sources, as well as YouTube, and see what's going on. Ebola is very real. Now, as my disclaimer, right at the front, I'm going to say I do not agree with Alex Jones on his spiritual views. I think he is a heretic. I don't believe he is saved, just like I don't believe Steven Anderson is saved, whom Alex Jones had on his program, and they sat down and talked about the rapture of the church not being pre-trib. But he has people and he has sources very high up that are giving him information. Ebola is happening in this country, but it is being covered up and not being talked about. People that he knows personally in the medical industry that are the head of some facilities, hospitals, are telling him what's going on. The Border Patrol sources are telling him what's going on. People that with Ebola are showing up and they're being disappeared. They're being taken away. And then there are several things working at the same time on this Ebola issue. Number one and most important is it's going to kill a lot of people. 70% of the people that are infected with Ebola die. Now, what's not being said is this country is so ill prepared for Ebola, and when you have Ebola, you're not supposed to go to the emergency room because you're just going to go there and all the people there that are sick are going to be exposed to Ebola. They're supposed to be quarantined in other facilities. Now, they have allowed this by not shutting down the airlines, by not shutting down our borders. They have allowed this into the country, and it's not by mistake. It is knowingly they have done this. Obama's mission, through his own vanity, is to bring this country down. Now, once that happens, that's where the illegal alien issue comes into. They're getting set to like 30 million people in and give them green cards. Now, if it's tough now getting jobs, as I can attest to, how much more tougher is it going to be for me to get jobs with 30 million people being influxed into this country? How many black jobs will be affected by the influx of the Hispanics? Obama is destroying this country. And God has used him as the tool to do so. Be aware of this. We are watching Matthew chapter 24 verses 4 through 8 take place right now. These are the beginnings of sorrows. And in Luke 21:28, when you see the beginnings of these things, the sorrows, look up, your redemption draws nigh. So do not worry, we are almost there. This can't keep going on. The dam has to break. And I believe the conditions worldwide are now set up for that. We have people just shooting people. The natural love has gone. It's like they've been seared with hot iron. This Ebola thing is crazy. I'm going to put Alex Jones videos up here. And you can make your own decisions on them. But he is getting information from high sources to tell him it's here, it's spreading, and they're covering it up. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Just look at the headlines on the Drudge. Look at the headlines on WorldNet Daily and any other news source. What do you see? Matthew chapter 24, verses 4 through 8. And when you see that, Luke 21, verse 28, look up, your redemption draws nigh. I do not believe this can go until next September, October for the Feast of Trumpets. I don't think it can go that long. We have troubles right now in Jerusalem again with a boss going to the world community trying to seek the votes to just declare Gaza for the Palestinians a state. Gaza, the West Bank, on the 1967 borders. They're doing this without Israel. What do you think what do you think is going to come out of that? Already, and I warned Benjamin Netanyahu, by you denying your own people the right to go to that Temple Mount and pray, by you even considering land swaps for peace, you will find yourself in the same position as Ariel Sharon. You will be judged by God. Don't do it. You get ready for war. And when that time comes, you wage it all out. And your country will triple in size. If you're allowed to be the one. Most people don't realize that in the political system for the Israelis, it's just like us, they have the liberals. That's Libby Tipney, I think her name is. Absolute liberal. And what you have is Benjamin Netanyahu as a moderate that holds these two, the left and the right together. But there are people, and a lot of people on the far right that are war hawks, that are saying, what are you people doing? We just got through with a war where Gaza had made dozens and dozens and dozens of tunnels to our side to kidnap people, that launched thousands and thousands of rockets from Gaza after you gave them the land for peace. And now the world community is going to give them billions and billions of dollars for them to reconstruct those same tunnels and attack us again. What are you doing? Fight. Go to war. We have God on our side. Let our people onto that Temple Mount to pray. It's our Temple Mount. And he shuts it down. Well, God is going to force the issue. He is going to go to war. And anyone standing in his way, anyone opposing him, is of Satan and will be dealt with. He will have that 70th week of Daniel for the fulfillment of the 70th week prophecy, so that the Hebrews will be put their backs in the corner, face extinction, and when they call upon the name of the Lord. That's Romans chapter 9 and 10. Call upon the name of the Lord. I believe that's talking about the Hebrews, and I thank Edward 123PF for showing me that. They will be saved. But it has to go through this prophesied process. It can't go any other way. And all nations are going to come against Israel, just like this nation is right now. The people in this country, the government, are the ones that trained ISIS, gave them all the arms and ammunition, heavy equipment and everything. That's what the ambassador from Benghazi was, that's why he was killed. I'll link to those videos. You can watch them for yourself and make up your own minds, but I'm telling you, Ebola is here. ISIS is attacking people. They're on the move. And they're on the move for a reason. Now, I've always maintained that this world will not see an Antichrist unless there is absolute worldwide chaos. Through wars, famines, pestilence, everything that you see in Matthew chapter 24, verses 4 through 8, once it gets past the beginning of our sorrows and gets into the sorrows, the tribulation, that's what you're going to see. Because without that, the Antichrist cannot come to power. He's going to have the answers. Well, you're watching it. Ebola is in this country, and it's not going to go away. And that's just one of plagues that's going to affect this world. We have earthquakes all over the freaking place. We now have the sun coming and sending off these massive solar flares in Earth's direction. It's here. Be looking up. Be spreading the gospel. Be leaving behind information for people. I mean, once you watch, and like I said, Alex Jones, I don't believe he's a Christian. He talks about a bunch of stuff that he just doesn't understand the scriptures no better than Steven Anderson does. But his information he's getting is from them higher sources. He knows people. People come to him with this information. And this is something that most people don't realize. The medical community, seeing and realizing what this Ebola is, having watched it progress through its 300 mutations in Africa, which, oh, by the way, I'm going to link to a video here. That is a weaponized form of Ebola, and it's a cold weather infection. Did you know that? It spreads better in cold weather. They took this stuff to Africa through these weapons laboratories, biological weapons laboratories, to develop the cures for it, the vaccines and everything else, before they released it onto the general population, which they did from those laboratories. That's why it started in Africa. They're going to depopulate Africa to get to its mineral resources. The news are, Africa has a population problem. Well, they're taking care of that right now, because that's going to spread all throughout Africa. Even with the forced quarantines, who can actually, do you believe that? Do you believe that Nigeria has actually stopped it? Or is that just another of the mainstream media's fantasies? You're not getting the truth by the mainstream media. You're probably not getting the majority of the truth from the the alternative media. But as being a Bible-believing Christian that studies prophecy, which you all should be doing, and the warning signs leading up to the 70th week of Daniel, you all should see these signs. Matthew 24, verses 4 through 8, Luke 21 through 28, verse 28, is telling you, okay, this is what you look for when you see that. And of course, you see that now, 66 years after Israel became a nation again. The fig tree has blossomed. That's the generation that's going to see the second advent. If they're going to see the second advent, then we as Bible-believing Christians, on the gospel of Jesus Christ, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 1-4, how much closer is the rapture? It's supposed to be 7 years before the second advent. It's here. You're watching the sorrows with your own eyes. Don't fear, don't fret. Just keep waking up and going to bed every day. And in between the wakeful and sleepful times, tell someone the gospel. Print another thing from Rapture Ready about a left behind letter, telling them end times timeline. Oops, I guess I wasn't ready. Is there a second chance for salvation? Those articles, which if you browse, you can find them on Rapture Ready. Print 10 of them out and put them in little envelopes and stack them up on some $1 Bible, King James Bibles. It doesn't have to be ornate what you do. Have in your Bibles highlighted the things that are going to happen after the rapture. Mark them out and have those letters left behind. Do something in the here and now by spreading the gospel. And do something that once we're removed will still be left here for those people that become believers to use as material. Because I can guarantee you, once the rapture happens, it won't be long after that. They won't be printing Bibles anymore. So it's going to be up to us as Christians to leave some behind. I mean, I'm horrified, one part of me, and I'm exhilarated, exalted, and ready to go the other part of me. Because I know there are family members that I have talked to again and again and again that just don't get it. I mean, you can see me being attacked constantly, no matter where I'm at, no matter what, like the blaze, no matter, I'm constantly attacked. I'm almost always the underdog there. Because you have the whole multitudes of Mormons, Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah's Witness, Catholics, all commenting there, all coming together as, yeah, we're one kumbaya party. Let's come together as Christians. And none of them are Christians, and they're all wolves in sheep's clothing. It's to the point now to where I have to be exceedingly careful in my wording and my comments, because if I say anything like Catholics are just satanic, boom, my comment's removed. And yet the comments that are left behind are fundamentalist Christians are completely crazy. Those kind of comments are left perfectly fine right there. Yes, I'm being censored, by the people at the Blaze. I've been kicked off of so many sites for telling the truth that it's not even funny. I can't hardly comment anywhere anymore. I have to find new sites constantly. Okay, but anyway, pay attention. What's going on in the world? Pull your head out of the Bible from reading the prophecy. Look to the world to see that prophecy being fulfilled. And that's what I've been trying to tell atheists for years. You are seeing these things with your own eyes. If you deny these things, you're doing this willfully. You're not doing it from ignorance. You're being told. You are willfully ignoring these things. Atheism is going to be extinct within 10 years. Do you think the Antichrist is going to let an atheist be an atheist? No. He's going to say, you take my mark, you worship me, or I kill you. And I can guarantee you, if they put you in prison, they're not going to keep you there very long because it costs money to feed you. He's already won the game. Cut it out for the head. The only way you win as a believer during the tribulation is you must endure till the end. You can lose your salvation. If you say you believe upon Christ during the tribulation and you feel the pressure of the moment and you take that mark of the beast on your right hand or your forehead, you're condemned. You are condemned. You have chosen your master with your own free will. You may even believe upon Jesus at that time. And yet, if you take the mark and you fall to your knees and worship some statue somewhere that has the ability to speak, or the Antichrist, you have chosen your master in full belief of Jesus. Now, people don't understand that during the 1,000-year rule of Jesus from the throne of David in Jerusalem, in Israel, that it's not going to be grace by faith. People don't realize that. Jesus will be on a literal throne in the glorified flesh as God ruling this world. Everybody's going to know who he is. And at that end, when Satan is let out for a brief time, a short time to go work his magic and his lies again, there are going to be people there, having seen Jesus on the throne for a full 1,000 years, knowing he is God, are still going to believe the lies of Satan and choose Satan and attack God in Jerusalem. That just blows my mind away. People now that believe by faith from our revealed word, our Bibles, over there on my shelf, that Jesus came in the flesh, went to the cross, shedding his holy, perfect, righteous blood on our behalf, going to the grave, and 3 days later being resurrected. That is the gospel for this church age. Jesus is going to be seen on this world during the 1,000-year royal reign in the flesh. All people are going to be required to go to Jerusalem at certain times of the year. There's going to be no excuse. They're going to know who he is. And having lived 1,000 years under perfect peace, under perfect righteousness and harmony, the planet even being redone to return to like the paradise-like condition that it was in the Garden of Eden, they're still going to go against him. And seeing the foulness in the world now, seeing the murders, the lust, everybody and their brother with letters in front of them, PhDs in theology, claiming to have some knowledge from intellectual only understanding, completely missed the mark just like the Pharisees did. And today, you could go be a man of God, a woman of God, go through a seminary, receive your pastorate, doctorate, become a pastor, earn a living, and still not know who Jesus is, and still not know and understand the gospel. We have Levi Price going on, and I'm going to do another all separate video about that, but as a prelude, he saw verses that clearly, in his mind, contradicted one another. And they do, if they were all at the same dispensation at the same point in time. But they don't, because they're not meant to be understood during this time frame, the age of the church, as versus the next time during the 7-year tribulation. He's mixing them together. And so his conclusion is, they're not contradicting. I now receive my knowledge through the Spirit, in spite of what the Scriptures say. And I've got him on video saying that. So he's once again taken the Harold Camping, psychotic, satanic, charismatic, Pentecostal, weird stuff, mysticism, New Age guruism, let's join with the Catholic Church and the rest of the religions and form a one world religion. They're all wolves in sheep's clothing. They're all liars and deceivers. Every single one of them. Knowingly or unknowingly. They've been told the truth. He's got a new video out. Well, I'll deal with that in my next video. When he's attacking Paul. Not attacking Paul, but he's so misreading the verses that because of his own spiritual revelation, he's reading the clear textual verses of the Bible and rejecting them. Coming up with his own interpretation. Which is another one of the signs. You have these wolves in sheep's clothing all over. And you can go to YouTube and you can look at these people, watch their videos and say, wow, they really don't have the Spirit if they can't understand the differences between these two verses. Like verses that show the second coming and verses that show the rapture. They're not the same. There are things going on in here you don't see in here. They're two separate events. And actually, through an interpretation method that the Hebrews use is called the remez, where you see what appears to be contradicting verses. It's called a hint. The remez is a hint. There's something here. Dig right here. And if you dig right there, that's when you realize that one group of verses is about the second coming, and one group of verses is about the rapture. They're two separate events, and the hint leads you to that conclusion. Because we all know the Bible doesn't contradict itself. And if you read and study in a proper hermeneutic, you will come to understand through the Hebraic Holy Spirit lens, you'll come to understand that it's in dispensations. No one is telling you right now to go find gopher wood, cut it down, and make an ark. Why? Because this is not the dispensation that was in Genesis. That's past. Well, there are still dispensations ahead that are Bible verses that are talking about that don't apply to this church age. The problem is, people like Levi are taking those verses and bringing them into the church age and causing complete confusion. God is not confusion. Well, pretty good ramble for this morning, eh? Anyway, just go to those sites I told you about. Look at the articles, read them, watch the videos I post by Alex Jones. And don't take him as my spiritual guru. He is not. I don't agree with him anything. I don't even believe he's saved. But he does have the people in high places telling him and saying, ISIS was funded and built by America, by the West. Ebola is here, it's real, it's spreading, and they're covering it up through the news media. And it's on purpose. If you aren't a believer, 1 Corinthians 15, verses 1 through 4, that is the gospel. Read it, believe it, and get ready to go home. If you are a believer, take courage, take heart, be consoled. We're close. We see the signs as listed in Matthew chapter 24, verses 4 through 8. We see those. They're all done. The players are on the stage. The players are on the field taking their warm-ups, their practice, just before the game. And that's what we're watching right now. As spectators in a stand, we are seeing the pregame warm-ups. We're watching it. The game is imminent. The rapture is imminent. All right. Love you. Bye.